Going live.
Maybe going live now, guys.
Let me move myself over so I'm not. Even though my face is going to be absolutely tiny in this thing. That's what people hear. They want to see my face. They don't care.
Yeah,
about
they're just tuning in for a giant image of you.
Yeah.
I know I would.
Yeah, just put the art everywhere else. I'm pretty sure we're live. Let me just.
Is your wife somewhere else in the house, just like gazing at YouTube right now, just so she can actually look at you?
No, I think she's done today. I think she's like, I'm just gonna freaking like cook and then veg out on the sofa, and she's just waiting for me to come back and watch Breaking Bad, basically.
Ah, good, good, good.
Okay, we are definitely live, so that's good.
All right.
How's it going, everybody? My name is Will Robson. Joining me today is very amazing comic book artist Declan Shalvey. Now, is it Shalvey or Shelvey? I never want to butcher it.
Shalvey.
Shalvey. Okay. Well, I already messed that up, so that's a great start.
Well,
Why don't you list off the prolific stuff you've done?
oh, right. I guess I've done I did Moon Knight with Warren Ellis. That's kind of what I'm most known for. And
Reinvented him. Give yourself more credit.
yeah, well, I mean, I was just along for the ride, man. It was all Warren, really. I just drew the things. Um, yeah, well, I've been a Marvel but this is my 10th year at Marvel, actually. I've done books like Thunderbolts and Venom. But Moon Knight is kind of the thing or Deadpool as well. Deadpool and Moon Knight is what I've been most known for, I think. I've also done Wolverine.
And Deadpool
Uh,
versus Wolverine.
yeah, I wrote Deadpool versus Old Man Logan. Um, I've done like a load of. I was counting up the covers I've done. I've done something like 180 covers
Wow.
for Marvel. But I've also done lots of creator-owned stuff like Injection with Warren Ellis, and I've written two graphic novels. One's called Savage Town, and the other one's called Bog Bodies, which was supposed to be out last week, but I don't know what's happening yet.
So basically, you haven't really done that much. I mean,
Not much, not much. No, I'm just sitting
no.
around. Now though, I'm doing commissions, so
Yes. So just like me, Declan's commission list is completely open. So how can people contact you to get a commission from you?
Well, they wouldn't because it's not open. It's
Oh,
closed.
Declan's are shut.
Yeah. See, that's how I work. I'm just like a tease. No, yeah, no, it was open a couple of weeks ago, and I filled it. I might open it again if I get through these. But I don't know about you, but I'm very worried about like taking too much on and then people waiting too long for commissions and stuff like that. So I kind of take on what I know I can do.
I just tell people like there is a bit of a backlog. Do you mind waiting? And if they say yes, then that's fine.
Most people are fine to wait, but I mean, you can also take the piss if you're not careful because I end up like getting bogged down on a job,
Yeah.
and then you have to concentrate on that, and then who knows how long it'll be before you I don't like this. I hate when this happens. I start drawing and I realize I hate what I'm drawing.
um, well, I don't actually have my commissions are never open when I'm actually working on a book because that's where all my time
Yeah,
will go to.
of course.
So this is why this is a special
Yeah, I got
occasion.
I got pencils down on the Punisher book I'm working on, so I've a bit of time. I'm trying to basically do all the little bits and bobs I've been meaning to do for a while.
Yeah. Well,
Plus, plus I'm not doing any conventions for.
no.
I normally actually just do commissions for conventions I'm going to.
Same
That's
here.
ju-
Yeah, same here. I'm the same exact way. But this time I've been using to sort of. I feel like I'm trying to break into Marvel again, because I spent all my time recently just restudying and like trying to get better and learning new things that I never knew. Like for instance, like horses. I'm like I need to finally learn the proper anatomy that I don't have to look it up every time of a horse.
Well, that's kind of the nice thing about comics is you never really stop learning because you'll have
No.
to do something you've never done before, and there's plenty of things you're like, oh, I don't want to draw that, but then you kind of like when I was a kid, I hated drawing nature. I was really bad at it. I couldn't figure it out at all. And now I love drawing it. I love drawing trees and rocks and, old things. All the stuff that I wouldn't touch when I was a kid.
Oh, I agree. Well, I mean, I think we all hate what we don't understand, really.
Mm.
No, I still like. It's one of those weird things. It's like when I broke in, I like now looking back and now I'm like, I don't think I was ready because there was half of the amount of stuff like I've learned on the job, like
Yeah,
just as
yeah.
I went because I really didn't learn everything yet. So it's and it's still like that today. Like yeah, I can draw a tree, but not the best tree, and I want to make it the best tree.
Yeah. Well, also it's tough because I see a lot of younger artists who, like, when you look at, like, you see what they're doing, they're really, really good. You're like,
Hmm.
damn, man, that person's really, really, really great. But they've never drawn 5 pages in a week.
Yeah, no,
So
that's a
they're
huge
fucked.
thing. There's so
Yeah.
many great artists I see that
Like,
they
you
said,
see, the editors are probably looking at Tumblr and seeing all these really great, like illustrative pieces, going, this person's amazing, but like they've never done sequential art. So, like, and that's just a whole other set of skills.
that's why I think I have a job because I'm not that good, but I always hit a deadline.
Well, yeah, I think I'm a bit of a workhorse, so that's
Yeah,
definitely has helped for sure.
no, I get it. I was like, well, I got to be good at something, so yeah, I'll hit that deadline.
Well, I mean, just getting that's one thing I realized is because I used to go out with a colorist and I would see how, like, loads of artists that you worked with, they were late, crazy late, and I didn't realize that, like, one of the best skills I have is that I'm actually on time
Yeah.
and that I'll do the things when I say I'll do them.
Even
I
more so, what about like when someone says, "Hey, by the way, we actually need this like in 4 days instead." Like that's the big that's where
Yeah,
you keep
for
the job.
sure. But even if you can't do, I mean, that's great to be able to do. But just being straight up and being acknowledging what you can and can't do is actually fairly. It seems to be pretty rare.
That's
And
crazy to me.
I don't know. I mean, did you have any, like, real jobs before you were an artist?
Yeah, when I was in high school because I grew up in America, I did deliveries for a wine and liquor store, and I was terrible at that job because I was awful at reading maps. I got lost in New York City and Inglewood at one point.
Ooh,
And so I never got fired from that job. They just never called me
they never
back for
found
another
you.
day. No. But besides that, I've had little odd jobs, but nothing major.
Yeah, well, I like worked construction and I was a
Oh
coal
wow.
man, like a lot of kind of menial labor jobs, and you got to show up on time and you got to get, like, it gave me a good work mentality, and I think there's a lot of artists who if they've never had a real job in their life, don't understand the idea of doing the thing when you're supposed to.
Yeah. Well, I kind of learned that from when I was actually like knuckled down. So I don't know about you, but when I made a true commitment to right, I am going to be a comic book artist,
Hmm.
and I sat down like, oh, well, how do you be a comic book artist? Well, you got to draw all day every day. All right, I'll draw all day every day, and then I did that, and then I broke in. So after that, I was like, well, yeah, that just goes to show hard work pays off. Like I worked hard to break in.
Yeah,
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I've been to lots of conventions with other people, and yeah, everyone's different. So
yeah, true. I think I was on a panel with CB Sapolsky once, one of those Marvel breaking in panels, and
I think I watched that when I was trying to break in. To be honest,
oh, really?
was it in? It was like an Ireland convention, I think.
No, that would have been before well, that might have been before I broke in, to be honest. No, this I remember doing this at in the States. It would have been the same in the Ireland. What am I saying? But he had a phrase where he said, once you break into comics, like the door behind you closes up
Yeah.
effectively. Like, whatever worked for me isn't necessarily going to work for you, because things are changing and moving so fast that there's no really one formula to do it.
No, I went to a convention. Marvel was there. Showed them my portfolio, and then over time through emails and chatting, I was able to get in, which seems like quite a like if you're applying for a job, that's what they tell you to do, right?
Yeah, I mean, that's a pretty old school way for it to happen.
It is pretty old school, yeah.
Yeah, I did the same, and I never got work from a portfolio review.
No, no, just contact.
Yeah, basically, I met Jeff Parker, who was writing Thunderbolts, um, and he asked if I wanted to show my stuff to Marvel, and I kind of half nearly talked him out of it, because I felt really bad because of the Irish Catholic guilt nonsense. Um, but no, he did, and they needed a fill in. Um,
That's how I got in.
yeah, same here.
You know how we broke in because other people don't hit deadlines and then we do, so then we take their
Well,
jobs.
no, in my case, I know it was because I know specifically Kev Walker, who was the artist on Thunderbolts, was drawing a double-sized issue.
Oh right.
It's an anniversary issue, and then there was a two-parter crossover afterwards. So in order to give him the time to do the anniversary issue, they needed somebody to fill in. So, in fairness, Kev wasn't late, but I'm pretty sure there's other occasions where somebody couldn't. Well, and in fairness as well, not that they couldn't do the job, but sometimes those schedules don't work.
No, definitely not. I once got a schedule to draw an issue in 2 weeks, pencil and inks, and that was over Christmas and New Year's. So
I once got that up, but I said no. It sounds like you actually did it.
no, I definitely said no.
Oh, did you?
That's the one time I've ever said no. Well, I was like, I just cannot do that. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. I was saying there was this big kind of climax in Thunderbolts, and this is when I was really still trying to prove myself and show I was reliable and stuff. But then they told me it was 2 weeks. I was like, I just can't. Like I just knew I would not be able to do it.
No way.
But then there you go. Some people would have said yes and then not done it, and then you're in more trouble. So you're better off just saying no.
No, I mean I've been late to the. You know how there's like the deadline, but it's not really the deadline.
Sure.
I've been late for the initial deadline, but
I've
never missed.
Watching this. Sorry, if there's any others watching this, no, I don't know what you mean.
I've never missed a print. That's what I'll say. Never missed going to print. All right, well, let's take a look at the chat and see what people are saying, if they have any questions or anything.
This is great because normally I'm doing this on my Twitch and I don't have to do it now.
People are excited. People talking about, yes, they read the series that you did.
Cool.
Where is Mr. Shalvey from?
Oh, Ireland. Specifically County Clare, which is on the west coast of Ireland. Right. But I live in Dublin though.
Oh yeah, how's that?
Grand. I've been here years now. Like, I was actually born in Dublin, but I was raised in like the countryside, like the probably one of the bigger towns in the countryside, which is called Ennis.
Right. I've been to Ireland 3 times, but only at Dublin Airport. Oh, on transitional flights. So.
I liked Dublin Airport. Like they did it up there a few years ago, and now it looks like a bloody Starfleet ship.
Oh really?
Yeah, it looks fast. But no. I mean, if I always tell people if they visit Dublin or Ireland, like definitely visit Dublin, but get out of it and see the countryside.
Definitely, that's what I would want to. I mean, I lived in London for a while, and now I've moved a bit more out to the country, and it's just...
Man, you've been around.
Yeah, I've been around. But, not really by choice. I've now settled down. I've settled down more in, more just out of the way of everybody. I have trees I can see from my garden, and that's all I need, really, in life.
Yeah, no, I grew up around that, and I learned to hate it.
Really?
Yeah, well, I mean, when I was I was a teenager. I didn't drive, so like, I moved. I lived in a town, and then like once I kind of got to the age where you hang out with your mates in town, that's when we moved out to the countryside. So I was just kind of stuck out there on my own. Well, that's not to be completely fair. Actually, a lot of it was my own doing because my sister made loads of friends out there, but I just stayed inside drawing all the time.
Well, you know what? That helped your whole bloody career, so
you
should love trees.
I should, yeah.
Right, let's see what's going
on. But I just find the countryside, like I like visiting it, but I just find it oppressive after a while. I just can't really. I appreciate it way more, but I just don't want to be there all the time.
Someone said Declan's work on Hero Killers was brilliant.
Oh God. Oh Jesus!
Is that
someone? That's a troll. That must be a troll.
Oh, is it?
No, I'm just kidding. Hero Killers was the first comic I ever actually.
Oh yeah. Okay.
It was a UK black and white one shot. It's weird looking at it now because it's so bad, but I can still see little bits of who I ended up being in it. That makes sense.
Yeah.
But no, it's pretty bad. I'm not sure if that person's joking or being just really nice, but thank you.
Well, his name is Irish and Sketchy, so.
Oh, okay, then. I'm still not sure. I could easily still be taking the piss. I know.
Someone told me to add some veins and hair on Wolverine's arm. Now, I do want to add hair on his arm, but I'm very intimidated to do that.
I always do that at the end. To me, that's the reward.
Any tips for doing
Even
the
as
hair?
um, I kind of do it in sections. I tend to like, even though it technically doesn't really make sense to
Hmm.
like do it on like his shoulder and then his arm. And I always try have it follow the form a little. But I see some people use like I use a pen, but I see lots of people using brush, and I always love seeing like brushy hair on his arm. It's really hard to do
Yeah,
though.
this is what I'm trying to decide what to do because I fiddled around with the other day. I've got I love these pens, the zebra brush pens.
I've never used. Are they Copics or?
No, there's a company called Zebra. I think they're Japanese. I'll hold it up to the camera
Okay.
so you can see it. But they're,
Oh, cool.
they're these little pens, but they're at the end of them they've got brushes, but they're very stiff
Right.
brushes, so there's just a bit more control. So I might do that, or I might just use like a small micron and ruin the whole piece. So we'll see at the end.
I know. I mean, brush pens. I mean, pretty much use a brush pen for most line work, but I always keep meaning to because I've got a couple of nice brushes, but they're so nice. I'm scared of ruining them.
Right. Well, like proper expensive ones then.
Yeah, proper expensive pens. I bought them. I was like, I gotta properly use a brush. Um, but I've just been too intimidated every time. But I'm about to start something new. Maybe I should use it as an excuse.
Yeah, definitely. Whip it out. The pen.
Yeah, it's a good thing you clarified because I might have just done it.
We are on camera here.
Yeah.
What would your dream book to work on be? Is asked by Green Day Guitar 44.
Hey, Green. Actually, slight offshoot before I answer that question. Do you find it hard replying to people? Because they have all these avatars, um, like Green Day, man there. I just have a hard time replying to people when I don't know the real name. Um,
I usually my brother joins me on this or my wife, and they read the chat to me so I can answer it,
gotcha.
and they just give everyone like they shorten. So Irish and Sketchy usually is Irish. Green Day just
Right.
becomes Green Day.
The thing is, in the chats I do, I actually do know some of the people, so I'm reading their avatar and I know their real name,
Yeah.
and I'm trying to change. I'm trying to calculate in my head what their name is, and I get all confused. I'm clearly not very good at this. But sorry to the question. Dream book. A dream book is, I mean, Daredevil is my.
Yeah, you would rock Daredevil.
I'd love to do Daredevil. Like write and draw specifically.
Right.
It's just nobody gets to do that. Very few people have done it. That's just kind of my bucket, my aspiration. Whether or not it'll ever happen, I don't know. Batman.
Have you ever done any Batman stuff?
I have. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember All Star Batman? It was John
Yeah,
Romita
yeah, yeah.
Jr. Yeah, I was doing backups in the first arc
Oh
of that,
wow.
so that was great.
So
That was savage.
Snyder writing?
Yeah, yeah. So it was these short story backups featuring Duke, his newer.
Oh yeah,
sidekick.
Duke. Yeah, yeah, the new sort of Robin, right?
Yeah, I designed his costume.
Did you?
For that? Yeah.
Wow.
Although it's been tweaked since by what's his name?
Capullo?
No. Oh, Cody Hamner.
Right.
Yeah, who's brilliant. So I saw his redesign. I was like, God damn it. Um,
Well, that's what these things are made to do. They're made to be redesigned, aren't they?
I know, but like after one arc,
Yeah, that's true. That's a bit of a kick
I did
in
all the
nuts.
hard work, and then because I was hoping like maybe they'd make like a figure of him or something,
Yeah,
and I'd
yeah.
finally get to see that. But anyway, but I that was like a few short stories, and I really liked working on it. But I'd love to do like a proper Batman run,
Yeah.
I really like Winter Soldier. Honestly, the stuff I'd like to draw now, I'd like to write and draw.
Well, I'm the same way. I just don't have any accolades of actually anything written down yet.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
an
plenty of
aspiring writer.
Well, I mean, you've got stuff. Oh, okay, hasn't been published yet, is it?
No.
Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, the I don't really know what to say to that. I managed to pull it off. I tricked enough people to make it happen.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna try and trick some people too.
Good. I encourage you to. But what was it? But there are. I mean, it's weird. There's more things I'd like to write, not draw, than draw and write, if you know what I mean. Like, I don't want to draw Rocket Raccoon, but I think I could write him. I don't want
Right.
to. I mean, I'd like to draw the Hulk in covers, but not a whole book. But he'd be fun to write. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, no, I totally get that. I mean, right now with the way, because I'm my stuff's very cartoony, but Batman is my favorite superhero, and I know so much about him. I could write a mean Batman book, but me drawing it, unless it was like in the vein of the animated series, I don't think anybody would want to see it, including myself.
fair enough. I mean, that's the nice thing about Batman is he's a malleable character. You know. Like,
Yeah,
did you ever watch that Brave and the Bold cartoon?
I did. Yeah,
That was great.
yeah.
Like, it's not the Batman I really like. I
But if
like
I
the
was
dark.
forced to draw that like that type of Batman, I would be pretty upset.
Oh yeah, okay, fair
I
enough.
want like dark and gritty, but
Yeah,
I just
same
know
here.
I'm not I'm not made for that.
Well, I find that kind of happening more like the older I get and whatnot. That and the more friends I have who have kids, I realize I don't really have a lot of stuff that kids can read. But at the same time, I don't really want to make that stuff. Like I think that there should be more comics for kids to read. I just don't want to be one of the people who writes them, if that
Look,
makes
I
sense.
completely agree, but I am one of those people. I mean, Spider Ham sold out, so I'm very happy for that. And
That's
I
great.
had so many people tell me that this was my like son's or daughter's first ever comic book. They had to own it, so
See, that's what I mean. That's so nice to hear.
it
That
was
will
very
never,
nice to hear.
yeah, that'll never happen to me. It'll be like a beardy man in a checkered shirt who looks just like me,
Yeah,
will be giving me compliments. But
it's
I
a
mean,
mirror.
I'm happy to get them. But there is something really nice about like when a kid is just delighted with something that you made.
Yeah.
Um, that's amazing.
Someone said I'd love to see Will's Batman. Well, buy a commission and I'll show you, buddy.
Yeah,
Have you
pay
seen?
up.
Yeah, pay up if you want to see my Batman. It costs money. Okay. I have no current income. So, have you seen Ryan Otley's sketches of Batman? Yeah, I have. They're amazing. Ryan Otley's amazing, and
You know, I haven't seen him do Batman actually. Now I think about it.
oh no, it's very very good.
Uh,
Af-
he's yeah,
After he
he's
finishes his time with Marvel and Spidey, which may be one of my favorite versions of the webhead, I'd love to see Otley take on the Batman. I feel like that would only be the natural movement, right?
unless he goes back to creator owned.
Yeah,
I
that's very
mean,
true too. I mean, I'm sure.
I mean, I remember being surprised he did Spider Man because I know he was so happy doing Invincible, but like he did it for years. So I remember when I saw he was doing Spider Man, I'm like, that just makes sense and good
Yeah,
for him.
I mean, it's one of my career goals is to work in the Amazing Spider-Man. So like, I get it, right? Like that's the if you're a Spidey guy, that's the book, and that's the crowning
Absolutely. I
jewel.
mean, if I ever get to do Spidey, it's going to be like a weird mini series, but I'm fine with that.
It'd be like
Or,
Spidey with Doctor Strange in the Strange universe or multiverse,
yeah,
whatever.
something weird, or like a grittier Spider-Man book or whatever. But it'll never be Amazing Spider-Man, and that's fine. I think maybe I'll get to do a cover. I'll be happy with that.
I don't think I've ever seen your Spider-Man.
Um, I I did a cover for Venom Island a while ago, and I got to do I think a really good Spidey. I've drawn him in Marvel Comics. I've drawn him 4 times.
Right.
Once was in Thunderbolts, and I know Jeff wrote him in just so I could draw him, and I was so happy.
Well, that's all. See, that's a great writer artist relationship.
Yeah, because remember the editor was like, "Oh, it doesn't really make sense that Spider-Man would be here," and I remember Jeff writing back going, "Yeah, but Deck gets to draw him. How cool would that be?" So major props to Jeff Parker. But I wrote a short story for Venomverse, and I wrote Spider-Man in like the second last panel, so that was mainly an excuse to get to draw him. So yeah, very like I said, I've been at Marvel like 10 years. I've very rarely drawn Spider-Man as a result, which is kind of mad.
Yeah, that is mad. But I mean, like, you build up relationship with editors. They kind of know, one, what you want to do, but also, two, what you're best suited for at the same
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm not angry or anything. It's just, I mean, but also,
time.
yourself, you end up kind of in the same, certain offices. So
Yes.
you could be working on X-Men books and never touch the Avengers
Yeah.
ever. That's been the fun thing about covers is like I've gotten to do covers for books I'd probably never be able to or be given to draw.
No, I totally get it. I used to do a lot of covers, and then when I went off to Image for a little while, that completely like went away. I don't know if I'm being punished or something. I
I don't know, man.
have no idea.
I found when I started at Marvel, I could not get on covers. Just
Really,
nobody
I
would
guess I got
nobody.
very lucky because I was like
Well, I think what
automatically on
happened
them.
was I kept trying, kept asking. I was drawing Venom at the time, and yeah, just wouldn't they wouldn't give them to me. And then there was an editor on Winter Soldier. They were going to announce a new creative team, and I think they were stuck. I think she knew I wanted to do covers, so she gave me that one, and that ended up being a mini series. And once I got in the door doing covers, I was able to go to my editor and go, "Hey, I want to do covers," and they were like, "No, no, you're not really a covers guy." I was like, "Well, I'm doing the covers to Winter Soldier right now," and that's how it happened.
Wow,
It's weird. And then the assist, it's weird, like because
Lewis.
Devin Lewis,
Oh yes, he's
yeah,
been
he
probably the guy I've worked with the most.
yeah, I think so. I would think so. He was an assistant editor when I was doing the Venom covers.
Oh wow.
Um, so like, there's people who started at the company when I was starting out, and I think like they'll see you as a cover guy because you were doing it at the time. But the people who are there longer may not see you that way. So
Right.
it's kind of weird. I don't know. I tend not to believe in conspiracies, or I find this stuff is generally like just people forget.
Well, I make my own conspiracy just about myself. I'm like that last
What's
cover I did was really bad. So maybe they're like, do you know what? He kind of sucks now at
I
covers.
wonder. Well, so what's your biggest conspiracy about yourself?
My biggest conspiracy is that I'm just they're just putting me on books as a joke, so everyone can make fun of me and how bad my art is. I think that's the truth. It's
You
not even a
know, that
conspiracy.
goes all the way to the top, Will. You know, I like it. That's a very big conspiracy. If that were true, it would kind of be amazing.
Right, let's have a look at the chat. There's that new animated series comic coming out soon. Not sure what you're talking about there. I love both of your Daredevils and
Oh,
Spideys. Well,
nice.
thank you very much.
I don't think I've seen you draw Daredevil.
I can show you.
Yeah, show me.
It's crap, but I'll show it to you anyway.
I can't wait.
I did a sketch card the other day down there.
That's not crap. Man, that's I can see a lot of oddly in that one actually.
Yeah, well, I mean, my biggest inspiration was McFarlane and Capullo. So anybody that like is in that vein will always have a bit of crossover, you know.
Do you mind if I ask what age you are?
I'm 29, 30 in a couple weeks.
Okay, it's interesting because like I'm 30. What am I now? 38, and McFarlane would have been the say Spidey artist generation just ahead of me. So as a result, I was way more of a Bagley guy than I actually do. I'm not a huge fan of McFarlane's work personally.
Well, this is over. Thank you for joining.
I mean, I've respect for it. I don't know if you're like this. There's things I didn't like as a kid. I'd be like, that sucks.
Yeah.
And now that I'm older, I'm just like, it's just not for me.
No, I totally get that.
No.
Look, I don't have to sing the dude's praises or anything. He does it himself, and rightfully so. It's just when I was a kid, I loved Spider-Man the animated series. That's what got me into all this stuff.
Yeah, me too. But I mean, you must have been pretty young then, because I think I was
Oh yeah,
13.
it came out when I
on.
was 5, so and I was right there
Okay,
for it.
right. Yeah, but he was long gone from Spider-Man by then.
Yeah, but then for some reason, my dad, since he knew I liked Spider-Man, he grabbed a bunch of McFarlane comics, and then
Okay.
I also had McFarlane Spider-Man bed sheets where it was actually panels from
Oh,
Spider-Man
cool.
fighting the Lizard. So that was kind of like indoctrined to me at a young age. And then those Marvel Legends figures came out when I was like 10, and they all
You
came
were
with
10 when those. Oh my god,
yeah.
it was so old.
And they all came with comics, and most of the issues that came with them were McFarlane comics, which I guess maybe was
Oh,
kind of like a
okay.
dick move since he was running his own toy companies. I don't know if
Yeah.
there's a little spite there or something,
Good point.
but that was like right. I'm hooked. This is me. This is what I love.
Right, because when I was a kid, Bagley was drawing Spider-Man,
Right.
and he'd been doing it so long that when Marvel UK or Panini, I guess, sorry, started doing their reprints, it was still Bagley. You know, the comics from a few years ago were still Bagley comics. So Bagley was 100% my guy.
Yeah,
And I
because
think
the thing was, is I didn't read much comics as a kid. I used to I used to go to the store, like a comic shop, pick out the art I liked, which was a lot of John Romita Jr. at the time.
yeah,
He was doing what's
he,
it was called, Web of
he,
Spider Man or something like. Oh no, Peter Parker Spider Man.
yeah, he was with Peter Parker, yeah, and then I mean, and then ended up doing it amazing.
Yeah, so I was really into John Romita Jr. And then I kind of grew out it for a little while, and then I read the Long Halloween once, and I was like,
Right.
oh, there's actually good words in these books. Like this is awesome. I remember going to my mom like, you should read this. This is good stuff.
Yeah, yeah. My mum reads comics if I give them to her. She's read Preacher,
Oh wow.
and she likes Garth Ennis a lot.
Right.
Um, Actually, I guess maybe just Garth Ennis. But I yeah, it's because the reason I'm asking this stuff because I think what the stuff that you see as a kid has such a huge impact on you, you know.
Oh, definitely.
But
No, I got more into film and stuff. Like, that's what I went to school for, and like cinema and stuff. I was a big Star Wars geek and all that stuff.
all right,
Tarantino fanboy and
yeah,
all that type of stuff. But no, it took me a while. I didn't actually get back into comics until I was 22.
okay,
And no, 21. And I walked into a comic book store that was in my university town, and they were selling this new Batman that I hadn't seen. I was like, why does that Batman look like Todd McFarlane drew it? And I was like, oh, that's Greg Capullo. He drew Spawn.
okay.
And I was like, wow, this is the greatest art I've ever seen in my life. I want to be a comic book artist.
Holy crap!
And that was it.
I think I had a similar thing. Again in your 20s because I went to art college and I didn't really have access to comics for a few years, and then I excuse me, I saw an issue of Ultimates by Brian Hitch, and I just like, what the hell?
Right.
Like comics just seemed to have taken a massive like warp leap, while I hadn't been looking at them, and like got into Planetary, and it was in that was the early 2000s.
Mm-hmm.
So there was just Ultimate Spider-Man then, and like there was a lot of really great stuff coming out around then, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of when I sort of fell off, but I was just at the sort of the tail end of all that stuff. I mean, I was the type of kid that was loving the Clone Saga and buying it up.
Me too, man. I love that stuff.
Yeah,
Loved
me
it.
too. That Spidey outfit's still like my favorite Spidey outfit
I
ever
think it's
done.
amazing. Yeah, that kind of full body one with the spider.
Yeah,
going.
I love the boots
love
where it's
it.
just like one side of the boot is the webbing.
Big time. Actually, did you see? I don't know where you were at the time, but did you see the Panini reprints when they were doing the Ben Reilly Clone Saga stuff?
No.
Well, I was such a cocky little shit that I thought I could do better, because what Marvel were doing, or what Panini were doing, is they were doing new covers for those reprints, and I didn't like them because they weren't the same artwork as what was in the issues.
Yeah.
But I thought I could do better, so I did. I must have done about 5 or 6 of those covers, like because I'd read the American comics, and I'm like, I know what's coming. I can do the covers first, and then send them in, and then maybe they'll pay me to do them.
Right.
How'd
that go?
Such a little shit. I did them, but I never handed them in.
Oh man, so you have like a commitment issue of like sending all that stuff in.
I think basically I probably had the ambition, but not the confidence.
No, I get that. Well, I used to play in bands a lot growing up, and I used to sing as well. So, being confident of like approaching people or chatting to people and all that stuff, or trying to sell myself, that's never really been an issue for me. Yeah, I just have crippling anxiety over my self-worth and talent, basically.
Yeah, weirdly I don't have that problem anymore. I definitely did when I was younger, but I was very, very insecure when I was younger.
Mm-hmm.
But I think getting good at drawing gave me confidence.
Right.
And I just, thankfully continued to get better at drawing. I mean, looking at that stuff now, I'd be like, what the hell? The fact that you thought you were any good, you idiot. But I mean, thank God I did. Otherwise, what would I be doing right now? But I'm a lot more. self-confident now, if that makes sense. I kind of believe, this is going to sound terrible, I believe in myself a bit more.
Well, I mean, the way it sounds from what I've had private conversations with you about the way you've dealt with handling business and pushing yourself in the right direction for your career, sounds like you're chock full of confidence.
Um, I wouldn't say
You
that. I
cocky
mean,
prick.
I had the benefit of people giving me good advice at the time, I think.
Right.
Uh, yeah, like, because I didn't know what I was doing for the most part. But I think I had a reasonably good sense of what I wanted to be doing, and I felt I was slowly moving towards that as time went by. Um,
Right.
but I try. I think maybe now I would have confidence about things now, but it's very easy to have confidence in retrospect.
Oh yeah.
Like people, I remember to be artists who are like, just say no to this job, and like it's very easy to say that, but if you don't have a gig, you can't just be like,
No, and also you're like, well, if I say no, do they think they're going to be like, oh, well, that's the guy that says no to stuff, and we
true,
can't do that.
but at the same time, if you always say yes to things, out
You,
of
yeah.
fear, then they'll always be able to just kind of you'll never be in control of your own stuff. So, I think what happened to me was when I was at Marvel, I was a very good boy. I did everything that I was told. I was like, yes, sir, yes, whatever you want. And I think I got a bit jaded after a while, and I realized that being a good boy doesn't. Oh, sorry, get the camera there. Being a good boy doesn't always get you where you want to be going.
Yeah,
Um,
but also you're probably at the point where you're like, well, at least people know who I am now. That
yeah,
I
I'd put
can
in the
I can
yeah,
say no, and I'll be
exactly.
fine.
I'd put in the hours where I could be a bit more um, self confident.
Yeah.
It was one time I was talking to an editor I was working with, and they weren't getting back to me, and I wasn't getting deadlines, and it was really yourself, like, just causing a lot of havoc.
Mm-hmm.
And I wrote to them kind of saying, look, this I'm having. Basically, I just addressed it with the editor, and they said to me, it was a really good compliment, but it still sucked. It was I never need to worry about you, Deck, because you get your stuff in when you say you do. You're not a problem. Whereas there's this, the squeaky wheel gets the grease,
Mm-hmm.
and everybody else was squeaky, so that's who the editor was having to deal with. Whereas he didn't he didn't think about me because he didn't need to worry about me,
Right.
which is great, but it still kind of screwed me over because I wasn't getting the stuff that I needed.
No, I totally get that.
That was a good lesson to kind of teach me, like, that you want to be good, and you want to be a pleasure to work with. You don't want to cause any problems, but at the same time, you kind of also need to be firm sometimes.
Yeah, and I've only had that twice in my career. Once I was approached to do spider symbol emojis for some sort of Marvel thing that I said no to because I was like, that's not in my wheelhouse, and I know
Yeah.
I would hate doing that. And then, like I said, the other thing was that working over Christmas thing.
Well, that's good to know your limits, man.
Yeah, that's it.
Christmas is my limit.
Christmas is my limit. I don't know about you, but I'm one of those Christmas nuts.
I'm not personally,
That's
but
fine. Again, I
but
don't push anything
no,
that
no,
people
of
are
course,
into.
but you are normal. I am not. you know.
I don't know
Yeah,
if I'd say
I
normal.
have worked through a lot of Christmases, not because I was asked to, but just because I was always more comfortable just being at home drawing than like doing the Christmassy things.
Right. Well, that sounds like a nightmare to me. That's why I purposely work hard. And it's funny because, like, for instance, when I was
That's why you're married, and I'm going to die alone.
well, for instance, this past Christmas, I was working with the same person that offered me the gig. That was the 2 weeks,
Hmm.
and then this time around, they were like, "And we're going to give you 2 weeks off at Christmas." I was like, "Awesome." They're like, I think they put a note like, "Will hates working over Christmas." All right, let's put this note
Good to
down.
know.
Let me take a peek in the chat, see what's going on. Do-do-do-do-do. I must say, serious balls to say no to Marvel. That's what someone said.
It's not that. It's not that. It's not like no. It's not a fu.
Yeah,
It's just it is a job at the end of the day,
yeah,
and if you did two shifts at your job and somebody asked you to do a third in a row, you can say no. Um, like if you if you're a total dick about it, then it's very easy to cost yourself some work. But I think you need to be pretty hard. You need to be a pretty big dickhead.
I just realized you can't even see what I'm doing, can you?
I cannot. Can you show me?
Yeah. Hang
Oh man, I saw the inks yesterday. Oh man, it was great. I love that costume.
Yeah, that's why when the request came in, I was like, "What Wolverine do you want?" And they're like, "Oh well, it's for a relative that they're in their 50s." I was like, "Say no more."
Yeah, this person specifically asked for Wolverine in an action pose, and specifically this costume. So,
Right.
although this is a cool costume, I have no problem.
Is that the one that you created?
No. This is the Frank Quietly.
Oh right.
New X-Men one. So I'm just not sure about that hand.
Are they still making your? Because are you the most recent Wolverine costume?
I mean, that costume was only in one issue anyway.
Right.
It was not a big deal. No, because I got that new Wolverine book now with Ben Piercy and
Oh, Victor Bogdanovich.
yeah, and Adam Kubert.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've heard of him.
No, I've never heard of who's a Kubert. I know. I don't. That's a new name for me.
Yeah, it's not a. I don't think it's really a comics name.
You know what's silly is like where I grew up in New Jersey. I was like I was less than an hour away from the Kubert school. I didn't even know.
I applied.
Really, I didn't even know. I could have at least tried.
Yeah, son of a bitch. Well, I didn't apply. My mum, she sent off for the brochure, and then we found out what it costs money, what the money is to go to American college.
Right.
She was like, "You're not going there."
No, yeah, that makes sense. No, I actually this year I just paid off. I only went to university in America for 2 years, and this year I finally finished paying it off.
Oh man.
Right, I'm going to ruin this now with some arm hairs. Now, my rule for arm hairs is I don't go where the light's hitting. Obviously, I feel like that's a good rule. I say obviously with confidence, but I don't have any. And I don't do it super even. I put variety in it. Is this all making sense?
Yeah, I kind of tend to go thin to thick.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, I'll do when I'm doing with a pen, it's fairly dead. But if I can, I'll try and go heavy around the curves of the arm.
Yeah. That's what I do. Like, I just gotta remember, it's like you can draw stubble, so why can't you freaking draw?
Yeah,
arm?
quite true.
Right, here we go. Off we go. Oh, this looks great already. I'm fine. All right, let's do this.
Oh, good. Yeah, I'm gonna try to get these claws out of the way first.
It's funny. Like with this break, this is actually the first time I've started putting solid blacks into my artwork.
Oh, really?
Yeah, the only reason, like, people are like, "Oh, I love your art style. How you just don't put any solid blacks in. It's really cool. It's very animated." I'm like, "Yep, that's on purpose." But no, it's always just from lack of confidence. And now with this time and commissions, I've had like just the chance to.
Yeah, especially with that Wolverine, you got a great kind of Art Adams feel to it.
Thank you. Well, yeah, he's my boy. I love me some Art Adams.
He's amazing. I have to get that art book they did. The Marvel art of Art Adams. Isn't it out last
I've got
month?
a bunch of his sketch pads because he.
Oh, lovely.
He came to a Marvel convention. I guess now 6 years ago, and this is when I was still trying to break in, and I actually was able to ask him to give me a portfolio review.
Oh, savage!
And I was like, just please be as brutally honest with me, and he was. And he's like, this is good. You need to work on this, this, and this. I like this. I hate this. Work on this.
That's much better, isn't it? I bet it was a huge help.
Oh, amazing help, tremendous. And obviously, I bought a bunch of stuff at his booth because I'm not just here for free.
Yeah.
Free advice and stuff like that. So no, great guy, and yeah, one of the best comic book artists alive today. Oh, we're getting hairy up in here.
Yeah, the hair on Wolverine is kind of my. When I did design that costume, I made sure that the arms were bare because I'm like, I'm not doing a Wolverine costume where I can't draw his arm hair, or get about it.
It's so funny because now it's just like, I know, because for one thing is I've always been a digital artist. I actually learned how mostly to draw digitally.
Mm-hmm.
So just using traditional tools has taken me years to finally build up confidence with it.
Mad.
And that's why this time off has like been great because like Yeah, I just feel like I'm fully. It's like I've gone through some sort of rehab or something where it's like I cannot click undo, and it's okay.
Yeah, I mean, I never really kind of webbed in on digital stuff, but I think what's good about not working digitally is if you make a mistake, it forces you to kind of actually work with it
Yeah.
instead of pretending it didn't happen.
No, I completely agree, and also like it's one of those things as well where I've always felt like, well, I'm not a real artist because I draw on the computer.
Oh, well, that's just not true.
Well, it is for me because my conspiracy is I'm the worst comic book artist working today. My wife hates me because she's like, you are so hard on yourself, and like if you were another person saying that to yourself, then I'd have to kick their ass.
Well, I mean, but she's not. She's right. Everyone's always the hardest on themselves.
Oh yeah,
Well,
definitely.
that's not true. Like, I I actually like my work for the most part. But I do have moments where you're like, what am I doing? Oh God, this sucks. Like I definitely have those moments of implosion. I think I was saying to a friend once that like if you don't have those moments, then you do suck.
Yeah.
Because if you just keep going and never challenging or analyzing what you're doing, you're just going to end up like one of those artists who becomes this like really terrible like carbon copy of themselves.
Yeah. Well, I'm a
Without,
huge fan of trial and error. Like I love just
yeah,
sitting down, giving stuff a go, and until it works. That's like one of the first breakthroughs I had with actually learning how to draw was just like I always had trouble drawing eyes. That was my biggest thing when I was starting out. And I just remember one night, like 4 o'clock in the morning, I'd been drawing eyes all night. I suddenly just moved the pencil the other way to draw an eye, and it just made like a clean, nice line. And I was like, "Oh, that's an eye!" And like that's the type of thing that I always have to like remind myself, like you still need to do that, but on such obscure, higher level stuff.
mm.
Let me go back to the chat here, see what's going on. If Declan could create a Spider-Man miniseries with Will, what story arc do you think you two would come up with?
Ah,
Well, we first of all we bring back that dope costume from the Clone
yes,
Saga.
absolutely. Um, oh, that's a good question. Ah, man.
Well, my number one rule is the Daily Bugle has to be involved because I'm a sucker for some Daily Bugle.
Sure. I mean, this is something I think of as a problem with some creators when they do get to work on those characters. They end up just doing the thing that they liked,
Yep.
which,
So I'm
you
already
know,
making a mistake.
yeah, but I mean, I would too. If I, the temptation is just do the stuff that I really like. But like anybody who does that, it doesn't tend to be good. So
Nope.
you got to keep the balance of what's true to the character and what's going to still push things forward. But I mean, the Daily Bugle is an institution. It's not hard to keep that going. Um, I'd introduce a new character. I love Spidey's Rogues Gallery, but
So they'd be green and purple.
Mysterio's younger brother. No, I don't. Well, I guess I'd need to. We'd need to talk about like our tastes. I guess.
Yeah, well, see, because they're asking that because one thing that me and my brother do all the time on this stream is someone asks like if you were going to do this type of story, what would you do? And we have loads of fun just coming up with that stuff. I don't know. Spider-Man is so intimidating. That's the thing about him. He's such a big character that it's like unless you have something deep in your back pocket or ready to go, it's quite tough.
I think at the end of the day, the story has to center in some way about him being a good person.
Yeah.
I find that even Mark Miller gets a lot of crap sometimes, but like I remember that Marvel Knights book he did with Terry Dodson, but like a big part of that story was basically like Peter Parker's a good person. He's a like not Spider-Man, but Peter Parker. That you don't need to be a superhero to be a good person, and I think that would have to be the core of the story. Honestly, characters and locations and stuff like that, they shift and change all the time. I wouldn't be too bothered. But except about the Daily Bugle, I agree with you there.
Well, there you go. That's what it'd be at its core. Let's see here. The mutual vulnerability and support in this conversation is kind of a beautiful thing.
Yeah. You know,
Well,
Rhino.
that's how it works.
I've come around to it. I'd like to draw a Rhino. I've never drawn Rhino. I think I
Yes.
could do a really, like, textured, big, terrifying Rhino. I think I
Who's
could
your
do that.
favorite Spider-Man villain?
I mean, I've always loved Venom. I mean, I think
Right.
we did the podcast before Venom. I just remember my introduction to Venom was the cartoon, and I just remember going, "What? Like, what's happening? Oh my god!" I was so scared. Um, but so I'm kind of that generation that's a big Venom fan. I like Boomerang a lot because
Wow, that's a right.
well, he was in Thunderbolts, and I designed that costume that he still has now. So
Oh,
I'd like.
really? I've drawn him before.
Oh yeah, have you drawn that costume?
I have, yeah.
Oh, class.
I also the most recent book. I can't say what it was that I was doing, but I had to get reference for a bunch of characters, and I was like, just whatever everyone's like current outfits are, and they gave me which I could. It didn't say your name on it, but I could clearly see it was you. It was
Oh, cool.
what's his name? Nick Fury.
Oh, brilliant. Nice one.
Like a big
Yeah, I
big
saw.
page of different designs.
It's weird because I just thought that they like ignored that afterwards. But I saw Jason Masters was doing Avengers, and I saw he drew that Nick Fury costume. I was like, oh, because I mean, it's fun to do all this stuff, but the idea that it kind of lasts a while is pretty cool.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've created a few. It's funny because I did the new costumes for the Future Foundation.
Oh yeah,
Which I was really excited to do, and I had loads of freedom on that and fun with the rider. And then that book,
they were lovely. They were really nice, man.
thank you. That book got canned like immediately, and then they came out with a new Power Pack comic, and they just ignored all the new costumes. I was like, all right, okay, well, everyone hated that, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And
But like even the what you call it, what I do, Moon Knight. I think that they've, even though that like as successful as that was, it seems that they've gone back to the older kind of 70s look for him now. I
yes,
think.
yeah, I had to draw him in my recent book too, and he is in like the cape and cowl.
Boo. Well, I had a cape and cowl version, but it was cool. Cries to self. But at the same time, I can't complain if people don't use the version I made when I do something. I want to do my own version, so you can't really.
Yeah, I always try and ask if I'm starting a new book with characters that haven't been around. I always ask, is there room to redesign? Because that's one of the best things about the job.
Yeah, absolutely, and it helps you make your own mark on the characters rather
Yeah.
than just filling in.
Let me take a look at this chat again. I'm a fireman. I can't really say no to a job.
Fair enough.
If Declan could start a podcast about an animated show from his childhood, what series would he choose?
I'm trying to. I mean, the Batman cartoon was the biggest one for me. I think.
Yeah, well, me and my brother, that's the next one we're doing when we finish Spider-Man.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I know, but a few people do that though as well. Would you not? I mean, I know
They
there's
do,
a few-
yeah. But the nice thing is like we've been interviewing all the voice actors and writers and stuff from these shows, and
Savage.
and we kind of just want to do the sort of the same thing. And yeah, there's loads of it out there. There are other Spider-Man animated series podcasts. We were the first though, but
You know, I'm not aware of them. Whatever they are, they're,
but no, that's something. And then yeah, so that's a great choice. I also love Samurai Jack. I'd love to do a show on that.
I actually never really seen it.
Well, it makes sense with with the age difference that may have.
Yeah,
really
I
been
think
on your
it was.
radar.
I think I was in college. I mean, plenty of people my age. I know a lot of animators as well. A lot of animators in Dublin, but I think whatever it was on, I just didn't have access to it at the time, or I was in college or something. But I mean, still though, there's no excuse. I should have caught up on it by now.
Well, it's amazing. It's a piece of art. Like,
Yeah, I can tell just
beautiful.
from. But I would say, I mean, the X-Men cartoon as well. I would. That'd be.
Yeah, because I feel that would have been more your speed. Because that was like slightly before me. That was too early for me. I mean, I watched it. I watched it as a kid, but it just didn't resonate with me like Batman and Spider-Man did.
Yeah, no, I loved. I would say I preferred the X-Men cartoon for sure.
Really? Wow.
Well, it was just more,
No, honestly,
more
you're in the minority there. That's what most people say.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think people have more of a fondness for the old X-Men cartoon.
Well, I think there was a level of cheesiness in the Spider-Man cartoon that even as a kid, I was like, "Ooh," but but it had the heart.
Yeah. Now, did I mess this up? Does old Wolverine is his mask brown as well?
The dark parts or his head.
Yeah, but I mean, like his horns. Like, is that the brown
Oh,
of same on
yeah,
his
they'd be
costume?
brown. Yeah, they wouldn't be blue. They'd be brown.
All right, good. Because I was gonna say, like, I like the way that looks. That shows how I didn't grow up in this Wolverine generation. I just like the look of it.
Well, I didn't either. I would have been. Yeah, I was like the Jim Lee costume era. But I remember when I saw that one, I was like, I don't like it. It's not the one I know. But now I think I prefer it.
Oh yeah, definitely. No, this is my favorite. And the newest Wolverine costume is pretty much the same thing, but he's got two little straps on his wrists, right?
Yeah. That's it. And I think it looks great.
Yeah, I love it too. Now let's bring a bit more orange into this yellow because I like the old school John Romita Jr. sort of orange shadow. Have you ever messed around with Copics?
No, never. I don't like them. I don't like. Well, no, that's not true. When I was younger, I think I tried them, but the smell kind of got to me. But
Smell?
well, the early. I mean, this is years ago. They definitely had a smell to them.
I don't smell it. Maybe that's changed to something. I have no idea.
Could be. I mean, when I was a kid, I did an X-Men comic, and I photocopied it, shrunk it down, and then colored it in with Copic markers.
Oh, really?
Oh, it's a mess.
Well, I think they've definitely changed then.
But I just I don't really. I mean, I've seen Mahmoud Asrar's stuff with them. There, oh my god, what he can do with Copic markers is insane.
Yeah, I mean, also, have you seen Todd Knock? What he does? It's like really, it just looks like it was
Yes,
colored.
yeah.
It looks like it was colored digitally. It's amazing.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a look I don't really go for personally.
No, that you know what? Now I think about it, totally makes sense with your art style. Like that makes sense.
Yeah, I just wouldn't see.
Well, there's lots of warm grays, cool grays, neutral grays.
Yeah,
There's plenty of grays.
That to me, I just prefer a bit of ink wash.
Yeah, well,
I just mess around with that.
That's what the pros use, I guess.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I think. I mean, I'm sure you can sympathize. I've learned what was best for me a while ago, and what works for me, what doesn't work for me. The tools don't make the man, as it were, but they do help. And I experimented and experimented and experimented, and I definitely found what kind of. It's why I don't want to go digital, just because I know I wouldn't like that look.
Look, I don't recommend digital to anybody that already has learned their game traditionally.
Really?
Because I started doing it just because
necessity.
I could my first comic I did, I was I was not a good artist, and the digitalness was good because I could just click undo, and that's what I really held on to. And also I could use a lot of reference and stuff like that easily. And also, like, I was like, hey, 3D models, like, I don't even have to draw a car. Like, I could just chuck it in there, trace it, and I'm done. So that became, I got stuck in my laurels with that. And now with this time, like, now I'm too deep now, Declan. I'm too deep. But now I'm trying to slowly work into just being traditional full-time.
There's something I do like about what you've been doing for the last while. It feels more fully realized.
What with the on the page stuff?
Well, no, with the commissions, like working on paper and with like hand tools or something. There's a quality in that type of stuff that I just respond to more personally.
No, I totally get that, and that's something. I want to move towards that, and also, that's a whole extra revenue stream that I'm missing out completely in my career.
That's true. I mean, I know there's always arguments of digital versus traditional, and that argument comes up. But I mean, I know a lot of guys who work digitally who can work so much faster that they make more money doing that than they would be selling work.
Yes, there are pages that definitely go certainly quicker.
Yeah, but I mean, like, I don't think that needs to be the reason why you do it. But if you're drawing every single day, I mean, there's just a level of practicality you need to consider.
For me, it's comfort for my back. I draw on the sofa next to my wife when we watch TV, and you can't
Really?
get that. Yeah.
Oh, I would not be able to do that.
I had to send it to because another artist friend of mine was like, "How do you do that?"
Yeah, I have
They're
no
like,
idea you do
"You
that.
need to send me a picture." So my wife took a picture of me like laying down with an iPad Pro balancing on my fat stomach, and I was like, "There you go. That's how it's done."
Oh man. No. I headphones on, ignoring everybody. I listen, I listen away to stuff, but I can't. It's why when I was a few years ago, I used to ink a lot while on Skype talking to like even this is fine because it's a commission and there's a level of concentration
Oh yeah,
needed. But you can also just kind of be slightly tuned out with a page. No.
really?
Yeah, no, I've just been less able to talk to people as I go,
Well,
which is weird. I have
that's why you
friendship.
make the big bucks.
Uh,
Well, that's what people think, son.
yeah, okay, yeah, sure.
Those dollars are a hell of a translation to pounds and euros. So I will say that. It is funny because a lot of people think like, "Oh, you draw comics, so you have lots of money, right?" It's like, no.
Like I mean, I won't lie. I'm doing okay. Like I have a good life. But like I also don't have kids, and I don't own a house, and I'm not married, and like I basically live like a giant 13-year-old. Um, I don't buy much stuff, dinners or drinks or whatever. Like, so I'm not a. Sorry, turn that on. Make that silent. Um, I what was it? Yeah, I don't have huge expenses, and I've been very, very lucky to get good gigs in the last few years. I remember when I was a kid thinking, if I can just scrape by, I'd be happy to do comics,
Mm-hmm.
and I did for a few years. I was just scraping by, and it was tough, but I was like, you know, happy.
How long
Uh,
did you work? Like, because I worked in like the independent scene for uh, 5 years or something. I was making about 4 to 6K a year
right.
just drawing comics. Were you ever in that sort of
Yeah,
scene?
yeah, no, I well, I did. I was lucky early on. Did you ever hear of classical comics?
Yes, I have.
Okay, well, I've done two books with them.
Right.
So I did a Frankenstein book and I did a Sweeney Todd book.
Well, those are
Um,
fun properties, but I guess they're
yeah, they weren't superheroes though,
no, but they're what's it
which is
called?
what I wanted to be doing.
They no one has the copyright for them, right? Because they're
Yes, yeah, they
public
were
domain. That's the word I'm looking for.
exactly, yeah. And they were fun. Don't get me wrong, and they were great because I basically feel like I was paid to learn.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but
No,
no, I
that's
did,
the same way I was too. Yeah, paid to learn.
yeah.
Good
But
way of
like
putting it.
I did a small press book in Ireland for a year and a half called Freak Show. And then I kind of moved on to doing those graphic novels, and that was I think there was probably 2000 AD rates. It was pretty good, but then when I started working for America, my money went down because it was Boom Studios, and I was making like 100 a page.
Right.
So I was living in Dublin and getting by. That's about it.
That's tough. I mean, I would assume that Dublin probably has the same sort of expense
Yeah,
outlook as London.
yeah. I would say it's probably as expensive with less. Like a friend of mine from Ireland said, if you're going to live in Dublin, just move to London because it's the um, same cost of living really. But so yeah, no, I was that would be. Let me see. I drew. Sorry, I keep hitting the camera. Um, did Hero Killers when I was 2006. So probably 4 years of that. Yeah, four years of getting by basically. Um,
Well, yeah, very similar to me then.
but I mean, it kind of should be like that.
I think it is for a lot of people, but I tell you what, by the end of year five, I was about ready to give up. I tell you,
Sure.
if Marvel didn't, the stuff didn't sort of work out that way, I was ready to move on.
Yeah, I get it. But like, I do think, I think if you hadn't done those years, you wouldn't have been ready for Marvel had you got the work earlier.
No, not at all. That's why I did it. Yeah,
Yeah,
I got very lucky that in the idea that I listened to so many podcasts and interviews of people like Jim Lee and Greg Capullo and just loads of people and they all said the same thing. Like I studied like all day every day for 3 years, and by year three I was ready to draw. And you know what? It's
yeah,
true. It
it
is
is
true.
true. it kind of annoys me a little bit about like artists starting out now, where it's just kind of like some of them expect to have it all done for them now, and it's like, sorry, just because you can draw doesn't mean that you can do this job just yet. You need a little bit of time in the trenches.
Yeah.
Everybody should be anybody at Marvel should have done a Dynamite book or a Boom book.
Well, I didn't do any of that.
You son of a bitch.
I was proper independent, like, people paying out of their pocket to draw their comic books. I tried to work for all those companies. It just never...
Yeah.
The one job I did that was really random was I colored the backups for an issue of Savage Dragon.
What?
And I wasn't a colorist, but a friend of mine, an internet friend, he works with the Savage Dragon team, and they desperately needed a colorist to come in, and I just colored like a piece of art I did, and I was like, oh, well, this doesn't look bad. Here you go, because I used to color like for some independent comics, and they're like, right, you're in. I didn't get paid. I gave up after 3 pages because the guy was, it was basically I wasn't earning money anymore. I was just focusing on doing this job, and I wasn't getting paid, so I was out. But they sent me some comps, and then what I did was I started saying like at portfolio reviews, I've worked on Savage Dragon. I didn't say that I only did coloring on 3 pages. I just said I worked on it.
You were just you said the truth. You were just selective about the details.
Selective truth. Yeah. Well, speaking of, I'm all done on my end.
I'll be longer at this, so don't wait on me.
I'll show you on here. I don't really like I got too confident with the arm hair, and now it makes no sense. But there you go, it's in there.
No, I like it.
Well, I'm glad someone does.
This is. Let's see if we get a better look. I still need to go in with some pen and do his belt, and with a brush, and yeah, I probably have another hour on this.
Really?
I would say, yeah. What time do we start? Yeah. I tend to spend about two hours on a commission, roughly.
Well, to be fair, I did do the inks previously.
Yeah, you did all that. Yeah, I did this from scratch. All right, help me out here. Yeah, no, I'll be another while at this. So yeah, don't. All
right. Well, what I do at the end. Let me just check all the messages we missed.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yellow, black, and blue is the best Wolverine costume. Yeah, you know what? That's a fair point. That is a great costume.
It is a great one.
Okay, you both have to create your own Fantastic Four team. No original Fantastic Four members. 1 leader, 1 female, 1 muscle, 1 younger hothead member. Jeez. We'll save. Maybe save that for another time. That question. That would take a lot of thinking. Declan, you really need to watch at least a few select Samurai Jack episodes. It's right up your aesthetic. I completely agree.
Yeah, no, I agree too. I just haven't gotten around to it. But I also really want to check out Primal, the new one he's doing. That looks great.
Yeah, it does. Yeah. He made his team: Spidey, Captain Marvel, Luke Cage, and Speed. That's good. Will Smell immediately smells his marker. Yeah, when you said Copic smell, the first thing I did was I smelled my Copic marker. My rule now is digital frontiers and paper for covers. You know what? That's a great rule. I've done that for some.
That's not a bad idea. Yeah.
I did start doing a lot of inks traditionally, but they took way longer, and I was doing it on pages that weren't business-wise, didn't make much sense to do, so I stopped doing that.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's all the questions.
It's a good strategy though. If you're you're more likely to sell the cover, and there's no why. It's really because it's weird. Covers pay more, but sequentials take way longer.
Yeah, no.
So that makes sense. It's a good plan.
No, I would say, what's the easiest cover you've ever had to do?
Easiest Moon Knight issue 1. Have you seen it?
Yes. Yeah. Okay. That makes a lot. That's just like his eyes, right?
Yeah, it's his eyes. Actually, no. The one to issue 6. What? Yeah, no. That first one probably was. It was just his eyes and the Moon logo. It was stupidly easy to do, but I feel like it was still I thought I'd have to fight Marvel a lot more on that one, but I think because they didn't want to fight with Warren, they left it alone.
I did once where and when I did Grey Lakes Avengers, Flatman was the comic book, so it was just a close up of his face, and it was very easy.
Like that stuff, easy doesn't necessarily mean bad. Like
no, not at all.
Sometimes the easiest solution is the most immediate, best thing that you can do.
Yeah, there's a page in I know you hate him, but there's a page in McFarlane's Spider-Man where he was running out of time, so he was drawing Wolverine, and for a whole page he just put Wolverine in silhouette, and it's one of the most badass pages I've ever seen.
Ah, class.
And right, so now I'm gonna have to put you on the spot, Declan.
Okay.
What I do is I give away one free digital copy of a comic on every one of these streams. I have Spider-Ham issue number 2 in front of me here. And what I do is I ask a question, and whoever guesses it right, with correct spelling, wins the free digital code. And now, to put you on the spot, I need you to ask the audience a question.
Okay.
And probably make it refer to maybe Wolverine or whatever we've been chatting about.
Oh, okay. I've got to come up with a question.
You do, on the spot.
Oh man, you were never putting me on the spot. Okay. What if I don't know the answer?
I've done that a few times, and I look like an idiot. But if you want to look like an idiot, feel free to.
Let me see. Okay, hang on.
It can be very easy. It doesn't have to be super difficult. I did. You know what I did yesterday? I said what artist created the classic '90s Wolverine costume, and it took everyone ages to get it. I was really shocked.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That was Jim Lee, right?
It is, and it took a long time to get that.
I got one then. What issue did Wolverine's Bone Claws debut?
Ooh, okay, that's a good one. What issue did Wolverine's Bone Claws first appear on? And also, this stream is about a minute and a half to 2 minutes behind what we're actually saying. So now we just sit and wait, and I usually sing Jeopardy or something like that, or have a sip.
Yeah, it's just it's an awkward silence.
Oh man, I'm not happy with the way the hairs turned out. One arm is great, and then I stopped paying attention on the other arm.
Well, I hope the person who bought this isn't watching.
She is.
Damn it.
But I think by now, my audience is used to me just.
But you know what?
Everything.
I think this is also something to consider. Is we are not robots. No. And not everything works the way you meant it to. And sometimes when it doesn't work the way you wanted it to, it ends up better.
Like, does it look bad? No, of course not. It just doesn't have that artistic
one of the
flair.
One of the best things ever. I did a Rocketeer drawing one time, and it kind of messed up on me, and it ended up being probably one of the most interesting things I've ever drawn, and it sent me down a path of being a much better artist. It's because I made a mistake.
Right.
I think it's important to remember, like, when people are getting commissions and stuff, that this is totally one-off. And if there was a button that you could press to just make a commission, then why would you get something original?
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Well, for instance, I have a big X on one of his pec muscles, because that's what I thought when I was laying it out should be filled with black, and it's not. So now there's just a little X sitting there. Makes it
an extra bit special. See what I did there?
Will finished, not perfect. What does that mean? Oh, finished. I thought he was saying that. I thought he was calling me out, but no, he's saying finished, not perfect.
Oh, there you go. Plus, what is perfect?
Art Adams. But you know what's funny? Even he said,
yeah, I'm sure there's plenty of things that you look at and go, "Oh my god, that's amazing," and he's like,
He said, I hate most of the stuff I do. This is a really bad one. And he showed me like this amazing Captain American stuff. So yeah, you have to get humbled like that.
Yeah.
The person who's buying it said she thinks it looks badass. That's obviously the most important thing. You know, cool. I really like it too. It looks great. I'm just being.
Yeah, I like it too.
I'm being a dick to myself. So does anybody have the answer to this question? What issue of Wolverine did the Bone Claws first appear?
It was an anniversary issue, if that helps.
An anniversary issue. There you go.
Do you remember when it used to be a big deal when a Marvel issue was like, issue 75 or issue 100, or, it would always be like, just get a little nostalgic right there.
I wish they you could still do like giant sized comics and stuff like that. That'd be loads of fun.
Yeah. Sorry if my question was too hard.
I'm sure people are Googling away. It's funny because like I always try to make my questions like silly simple. Not silly simple, but like the first one I did, I was like, what is Iron Man's alternative name? His.
Oh, Shellhead or do I win?
Yep, yeah, you went. I'll send you the code. Yep.
Woohoo!
And then my brother, he came on. I was like, "You need to ask a question," and I forgot what he asked, but it was like the most complicated. It was like, what voice actor in this episode of Spider-Man animated series also was this actor in this 1982 horror film? I was like, no, that's just everyone's gonna run to Google.
Yeah.
You're hoping that someone, and then also my wife asked I thought was an easy Harry Potter question, and no one asked that as well.
Yeah, well, anyone of I guess my generation would know that off the top of their head, I think. But maybe I'm just an old man, Will.
I think you are just an old man. Someone has said The Incredible Hulk number 181.
No, isn't that the first time you see him?
I think that's, I believe that's probably the first appearance of Wolverine.
No,
there's a guy. Oh yeah, there's also a guy in the chat that always has won a lot, and he sits here and he's like, "I know the answer," but he doesn't want to say because he wants to give people a chance to win.
That's very good of him.
So he's kind of just boiling over right now. So you allowed to say, is this the commission you said that's going to be filled with all those other characters, or is that a different one?
Oh no, that's a Daredevil versus the Hand.
Right, yeah,
that'll be a full cover one. I'm not sure when I'll do that. That's going to be a bit more work. I want to get some of the these A4 one character ones done first.
Yeah. Someone said number 75.
Bingo,
bango, Irish. Hit me up at robsonrequest@gmail.com and you will get your free digital code for issue 2 of Spider-Ham.
See, it was partly a trick question because the adamantium got pulled out of him in X-Men issue 25, but the bone claws didn't show up until the next chapter in the story, which was Wolverine issue 75. So, okay, I'm done. I've got my nerdiness.
I think I know why you keep getting to work on Wolverine then. Jeez.
Maybe.
It's amazing me how much you think you can know about a character and then you realize, you know what? I don't know shit.
Well, yeah, and myself included.
It's crazy. All right, well, that's about as much time as we have for today. Thank you very much for coming on, Declan.
Oh, you're very welcome. Sorry I didn't get this finished in time, but I'll post this online later on today.
Right. Someone also said, also known as Volume 2, number 25.
Oh wow. Okay, that's very.
Is it
Volume 2?
That's the guy. That's the guy that always wins. So.
Okay. Okay. Fair enough.
I'd assume he's probably right. So please tell everybody where they can find you online, and 2. Oh wait, you're not selling your commissions, are you? So never mind.
I'm not. No. But you can order my books though. I've got a book called Bog Buddies coming out. I think probably next month now.
Right.
With Diamond or start shipping again. I wrote that and I did the cover. It's like an Irish crime story. But you can find me on Declan Shalvey @Declan Shalvey on Instagram, on Twitter, and I have a YouTube channel as well where I don't stream live like you, but I do post my live streams from Twitch on there. I kind of archive them there if anybody wants to watch those. So.
And then find you on Twitch as well then.
Yeah, on Twitch, and I'm Declan Shalvey there. I'm Declan Shalvey everywhere.
How often do you stream on Twitch?
Intermittently, not a whole lot, to be honest. I will be for the next couple of weeks, but then I'm starting a new job, so I won't be doing it for a while. So I don't know. Don't bother.
Yeah, when people stop,
I'll only disappoint you.
I will say once. If you see my YouTube and I'm not uploading anything, that means I happily have a job again. So
yeah,
just watch out for that. Okay, well, thank you very much, everybody. And
cheers, guys. Thanks.
I will see you guys tomorrow, where I'll be inking up a full body Spider-Man commission.
Hey.
So thanks everybody. I'm gonna end the stream, and everyone gets to see all the buttons that I click because it's all.